Torah Life Ministries come out of the world. Messiah people seek the truth.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries, and we're going to do this Q&A, this Friday's Q&A. Every Friday I try to get the Q&A down, and I just want to tell everybody Shabbat Shalom. I pray that you have a great Shabbat, and if you have any questions about any of my videos, just post them below the videos, and I will answer them and get to them. And that's pertaining to health and the Bible, or any other Bible issues you might have. Now also on my other website, rawlifehealthshow.com, we have a lot of other videos pertaining to health issues, and it's a membership site. You can get a free subscription if you go there now, and you can see some of the videos. If you want to see all of the videos for a very small fee, you can just go to Raw Life Health Show, and I'll be posting a lot of videos and podcasts there. But I am, speaking of podcasts, I have a Torah and Health podcast now on Podomatic.com. Just go there and type Paul Neeson, and you'll see that. But let's get to this week's quick Q&A for Torah Life Ministries. The first one comes from Jen, and Jen says, Shalom Paul, how do you find out what is halal and what is not at Costco? Because I did a video last week about the difference between kosher meat or kosher food and halal food, which is with food that the Muslims consider good or healthy. You know, somebody told me they were the same. They're not the same, folks. And I did a video about that. And I said Costco is one of the many stores, even Whole Foods sells halal meat. And somebody was asking how we could tell the difference. Well, you can ask them, but many times they don't know. And just like kosher food comes with a symbol on it, the letter K in a circle, well, halal foods have a symbol on it as well. And many of these symbols you could find on the internet, and it's not just one, there's many different types. So if you see that symbol on the food, you know. But what happens is, just because you don't see it means it's not halal food, because what happens often is the symbol or the wrapper is taken off and they repackage it. Or the food in it can still have halal meat if you're getting something. So we want to be careful. I would say, you know, stick to kosher, and then you pretty much know you're not eating halal meat. But it is not the same thing, and no believer should be eating halal meat because it is sacrificed to their idols, or it has to be prayed over in the name of a different God other than Yahweh. And it's a big issue spiritually. Now, I know in the scriptures Paul says, you know, an idol is not truly, it is nothing in this world because you know, there's only one Elohim, one God who created everything, and I know who it is, so I'm not going to be concerned with idols. But he does go on to say, if it's going to cause a brother to stumble, then you want to stay away from that. Also, though, regardless of what Paul thinks, it says clearly in the scriptures over and over again, do not eat anything that was sacrificed to another idol. So Paul was bringing up a point that an idol is really not another God. He wasn't saying it's okay to eat to another idol. He was saying it's not another God. But, you know, Yahweh clearly said it, and Paul agreed with it in Acts 15, that anyone who's a believer should not eat animal that's sacrificed to other idols or the gods, however you want to say it. And, so that's, you know, we got to be careful with this. So it says, we shop regularly for many organic things from Costco and Vitamin Cottage. We are not TV watchers, so we wanted to know how we could know this answer. Well, Jen, that's the answer, and please, you know, look on the internet. My friend Mark Blitz just did a great topic, and he spoke about a website, and he gave symbols on it, and you know what? Maybe at the end of this video, I'll try to have some clips from that video, so you can see that, or maybe at the end of this question, if I still have that in my computer, we'll get that on there. And the next question is from Eja, and Eja says, I always wondered if the Asian people blessed everything in their shops and their restaurants, because every time I was there, I always felt something in these places with their decorations and their gods, and it feels bad. It doesn't feel good in my spirit. Well, regardless if they're truly doing it or not, if it feels bad in your spirit, then don't be around that. You know, I know when I leave an Oriental market, I see little statues with fruit on it or something else, and I know they're offering that to their God. But, you know, if your spirit has some conviction in it, or you feel bad, regardless of what you can confirm, you need to stay away from it. You know, Paul even talks about this in the scriptures about, you know, if your conscience, if it's creating an issue, you know, you need to avoid it, you know, and, So we need to be careful with that, but that's a great question. Thank you very much. The next question was from Jody, and Jody asks, how does one formally accept Messiah and go into covenant with him? And I'm grateful for your answer. Well, one of the ways somebody can formally accept Messiah is not the way the church does it today. The church will have somebody just say a couple of words in their prayer, and they say, oh, now you're a believer. No. Judy, your heart has to change. When you accept Yeshua as Messiah, you're supposed to love the things he loves and hate the things that you once loved in your own flesh. So yes, you can pray and ask Yeshua to come into your life, but you have to meet it in your heart. So it has to be a heart issue before it becomes a verbal issue. And the fact, that you ask this question, seek your heart. If you truly feel that you want to follow Messiah Yeshua and you believe in Yahweh, well, just let your actions follow. It says in the scriptures, it says, our actions are revealed by our heart. And I am not saying we're saved by works, anybody, but I am saying if we truly are saved, works will follow. I'm saying if we're truly saved, we should have every desire to do what he says to do. So, if you want to accept Messiah and go into covenant with him, you make the covenant with him. Yahweh, I know Yeshua is who he says he is. I accept him as my Messiah, and I will do my best to seek and follow and take action to keep Torah. And then do it, and set an example, and give glory to Yahweh. So that's the quick answer. If you want the long answer, check out some of my videos, check out some of the links on my website, or just, contact me via my website and call me, and I'll be happy to talk to you more about that. Or anyone else out there, the same thing, if you're sincere about that. Welcome to the family, and there's no life, there's no food that you can eat that'll give you better health than being in covenant with Yeshua Messiah, and there's no emotional thing you can do that can make you feel higher than being in covenant with Yeshua Messiah. It's just a wonderful thing, and praise Yahweh, everybody, is all I have to say. The next question is from Warley, and they ask, how do you view Corinthians 1:8 concerning this issue? Paul says there are no other gods except the true Creator, and the other gods are only so-called gods. We already spoke about this in a previous question, but it says here in 1 Corinthians 8:13, whereupon if food causes my brother to sin, I do not eat meat in his lifetime, so that I would not cause my brother to sin. Paul knew there was only one God, and all other idols weren't a true God. But again, it says, that if it's going to cause somebody else to sin, still not to eat it. And Paul was not saying, just because we know there's only one God, that it's okay to eat things that were sacrificed to other idols. He was not saying that. The point was not to cause another brother to stumble who does not believe that there's only one God and every idol means nothing. And also, to confirm that, Paul was a Torah scholar, and Paul kept Torah, and he stuck to Torah. And Paul says, do not eat anything that was sacrificed to other idols. He even goes so far to say that, in Acts 15, he confirms again, a new believer must not eat any animals that were strangled or sacrificed to other idols. So Paul never said it's okay now for people to eat things that were sacrificed to idols, but he was given a great lesson when he said, idols of this world mean nothing. These statues and everything else mean very little because there's only one true God. So no matter if people bow down and pray to little rocks and do all these other things, it doesn't mean much, folks. There's only one God. But still, we're not to eat anything that was offered to those idols, those senseless idols. And Yahweh knows our heart, folks, but and he'll guide us and help us in these areas. But that was an excellent question, and it's something that I addressed because a lot of people get confused, and I'm doing a new teaching about the misunderstanding teachings in Scripture about food and diet. I'm going to come out with that teaching real soon, so watch out for that, everybody. The next question was a video I did about, I interviewed these girls, these modest girls, and we were talking about modesty, and somebody said to me, people that agree with their viewpoint, and I just did a podcast by the way, so check out my podcast on this, because this was a really good one. It's the people ask, they were talking about dressing modest and being modest, and somebody said, if you agree what's presented here, well, then check Ezekiel 16:9-14, because that says that Yahweh gave us beautiful things. Yes, that is true, but Yahweh's beautiful things are what's beautiful to Yahweh is not beautiful to the world, and what's beautiful to the world is called an abomination to Yahweh, because the world beauty is the sexiness of the world, is the immorality of the world. But the beauty to Yahweh are the flowers, the embroidered fine linen, and clothes like this. That's what Yahweh gave us to be beautiful. And we've taken what Yahweh has given us, and we've destroyed it. We've done it with our food, we've done it with the food the soil comes in, and we've done it with our clothing, we've done it with everything. And I did a whole podcast on this, a long one, so check that out. But, you know, we have to also look at Ezekiel 15:19. Go on and read the rest of it. That says that we have taken what he has given and we have destroyed it. He's given us fine, beautiful clothes, beauty according to Yahweh, and we have destroyed it. And it says here, again in the scripture, it says that what did Yahweh give us for beautiful? He covered our nakedness. It says that in Ezekiel. He covered our nakedness. So to reveal our flesh is not of Yahweh. The beautiful things he gave us covers our nakedness. The abominations of this world reveal our nakedness. So there's a difference there. So this person was trying to say, you know, it's okay to wear anything we want because Yahweh gave us these beautiful things. At least that's what it seemed like they were trying to say. And that is not true. Yahweh is saying, do not reveal your flesh to the world and your nakedness to the world, and cover yourself in the beautiful clothes I had given you. How could you let it happen where people are dressed the way they are today? Check out the podcast, everybody. It was really a lot of information on it, a lot of scriptures, and so I just want to clarify that. And then finally, before I give you the last question this week, if anyone has any questions about anything to do with diet or to one of my videos pertaining to health and diet or anything to do with the Bible, just go to Torah Life Ministries or TorahLife.tv and post your questions below the videos, or you can go directly to Raw Life Health Show and post your questions there. Finally, the last question was, it says, how can you say that all women who are raped bring it upon themselves? Because that's what one of the things were on this video about if somebody dresses immoral or if somebody dresses in a way that's not covering their body. These girls said it can create a desire for men to want to rape them. And they didn't say all women. They said some women. You know, there are some women out there that dress modestly and they're innocent and they're beautiful followers of Yahweh, and still, because of men's sick minds out there who are unsaved, they have these desires that'll go and rape and do things to these women that I pray that never happens to any of you out there. But there are also men that are built differently than women and have certain desires that they challenge to keep under control. And when a woman goes out in the street, walking around half naked, exposing their private parts, and putting them in a way with a Jezebel spirit to seduce men, well, they are bringing it upon themselves for the animal instincts in men to come up and show their ugly face. And I'm not saying all women are creating this issue, but I am saying dressing immodestly can bring up these desires in men that can lead to rape. So we need to protect that, and that's why we need to follow the guidelines and the instruction Yahweh sets out for us, and he says to cover our bodies, people. We have to be careful about this, and I know it's a very controversial and emotional thing, especially if somebody knows somebody who went through this terrible, terrible tragedy of getting raped. You know, in no way were these girls in the video or myself saying that all women who dress immoral are the reasons they get raped. Or the reason all women get raped is because of the way they dress. In no way were they trying to say this. But they were saying, and I am in full agreement, and anyone who knows the scripture should be with also, that if a woman dresses in an immoral way, you know, she's just bringing it upon herself for immoral things to happen. If she's living against Yahweh's instructions and guidelines, things are going to happen that he did not want to happen. And men are built with animal instincts. And you might say, well, not men of Yahweh. Well, what about King David? You know, who saw Bathsheba there. You know, he saw her naked, and it brought out these instances where not only did he commit adultery, he committed murder over that. Men are just built that way. So ladies, help us, men, and cover up your bodies. Now, I'm not saying I have a desire to rape every woman that's dressed immorally, but I also have the smarts to be like Joseph and run from those women and not hang around those women so I don't get that urge, or that urge doesn't come up. You know, we need to be real. We need to be careful, people. The immorality of today's society has reached the standards of this world instead of the standards of the scriptures. And there's no leading way than the way we dress. And until we get back to the standard of the scriptures, we are just going downhill. And that's why divorce, rape, and all these other crimes are at its highest level than ever before. You know, we need to be real, people, and we need to start getting back to Yahweh's word. And we need to stop neglecting that these kids are coming to church dressed like Britney Spears. Even the people that are on the church on the stage with their little rock concert are dressed in an immoral way. We need to understand high heels and makeup have nothing to do in a church. We need to understand these things, that people need to cover their bodies. You know, if anyone wants more information on this, go look at my video, Modesty According to the Scriptures, or A Modest Heart. Go look at that and see that. If you have any comments or questions about these, post them below the video, everybody. But, you know, you could still dress modest and be beautiful, because Yahweh has given us beautiful clothes that modestly cover ourselves. And I appreciate all the sisters out there that do that. So, Todah Rabbah. Thank you, everybody, for your Q&A. This is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministry.
We'd like to welcome the internet people throughout the world, those that listen to us by CD and audio and DVD and video from the internet.
So what in the world is halal food? Costco, Costco, Costco. All the Costcos, and you read that, it says that's all they serve is halal meat. I think that's the fresh meat. But this is Costco trying to get the Muslim market. Okay, and now, I'm not saying don't go buy your TV at Costco or anything, and I'm not saying don't go buy halal meat. I'm just saying you need to be aware and you make that choice. But this is what is going on. They proudly advertise this. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't want you to know it's going all over the world. Christians are upset as they're fighting about this because Christians are saying, how come you didn't tell me? Okay, well, you're going to find these logos on a lot of the food. If you go and look, these are different halal stamps. You can go to this website, you can type in on your internet halal logo, and you're going to see all these different logos. And then go home and look at your food that you buy and see if it has that on there. But at least now you know. What you do with that is up to you. Don't shoot the messenger. Are you glad you at least know this? But here's the thing that you don't know is, well, you almost have to ask. Because what I'm finding out, now again, some of these stores are franchises. It's different. Now, not everyone is like at a restaurant. You're not going to know unless you ask. Believe it or not, Subway sandwiches, a lot of these places are halal food. Domino's Pizza, a lot of them is halal food. Not necessarily, you're going to have to find out for yourself. All I'm doing is laying this out for you guys, because believe it or not, this is coming to a store near you. This is all over. And it's up to you what you want to do with it. But to me, I think we need to be aware of these things, because they don't want Christians to know, because they just want to sell it and get it out there. But I think we ought to know these things. And so now it's up to you to decide if you want to eat food that has been offered up to Allah. But at least I made you aware of it. But this is going all over. Believe me, Sharia law is going to come in one way or another, whether you like it or not. And this is the backdoor way. They have halal farms all over the United States. They got halal food, and it's coming.
Seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's way.